start curving, darling. I wanna smell the dinner cookie.
Welcome back to the show that I'm on, the I Stand Correct show. Couldn't help but find it a little bit ironic that yesterday I posted a show saying I Stand Correct is moving to Tuesdays. So you can catch me here on Tuesday. I do this as a strange courtesy, of course, so that everyone who is going to be waiting around on Monday would know I'll be here on Tuesday. Like 4 people showed up yesterday. Nobody here today. It's just a sign of the end of the show, which is probably what I was always looking for. I used to not do the show unless I had a certain amount of watchers already there. And now, if I can just confuse everyone out of when the show will actually be, just over-inform people to the point where they have no idea what's going on, and nobody's there, then I guess I'm excused, right? Here to stand athwart that plan is Chase. Good morning. And Michael. In our defense, we don't know what the day is. We thought it was a trick. I saw that. Some people were waiting long after the time was set for the show to start, and they're just like, well, we're just going to wait until Tuesday. Tyler. That's fine. As I said, this is what I have always wanted. Mondays, I am going to therapy. I have a standing therapy appointment, which means the time that the show normally starts, I'm to be getting into my car and driving to that. So, life works out like that. Everything kind of just happens to fall at the same time. Everything important is always on the same thing. You try to schedule with people, and it turns out they only have the same free time that you're busy. So eventually you have to reprioritize. You have to put things in different places. And you do the best you can. But, how important is this show? To the 2 of you who are here, I say probably not that important. That's okay. It was always sort of the fringe thing I was doing. And I always threatened to quit, but perhaps this is the best sign of me playing to 2 people. I've literally hung out with more people before at once. I've literally said to a hostess at a restaurant, more than a party of 3. So this is pretty sad. And there's not even appetizers here. So, it's kind of hard to imagine that we'll keep going like this. We'll see, though. See if people can figure it out. But we all voted for you to stay crazy. That's true. I got 6 people who voted for that, which is also pathetic. But, 6 people versus the 3 that are here now. Also sad. I've got to see at least certain people here for me to know that this is being taken seriously. I want to see Butter Queen. I want to see Jenny. Where's Jenny? What's up with that? She's got to be here. Shorty is excused. Otherwise, she would be, kind of the third, not person in importance, but, the third most dedicated viewer. She's in the top 3 there. She's excused by virtue of being in Australia. What is everyone else's excuse in North America? There's no excuse other than you don't care. I guess that's a perfect excuse. I'm pretty unplugged from the world. Don't know what's going on. Heard there's some shenanigans in Mexico. They're refusing to fight the cartels, and then the Americans are having a bad time. That's all I can tell you. I know the Olympics are over because the other day I was watching the Olympics, and all of a sudden Law and Order came on, which is kind of the cue that it's over. And I saw some pictures on Instagram from which I briefly vanished from the Winter Olympics, like in 2006. And these places that host the Olympics, they just turn into ghost towns. They invest all this money. They get all this money approved in order to host the Olympics. And it's boom, and then it's bust. So I don't know exactly where it was at. Milano Gordovo. I think that was a place in a Batman comic once. But it's over for them. Their town is over. Soon it will just be filled up with dusty old relics. What else do I know about what's going on? Not much, man. I got to tell you that getting away from the news has done wonders for me. People don't say I'm any happier, but I definitely feel more calm. Well, so I can just personally testify as a lab rat in my own science area here that if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling upset, that probably the thing that you need to do is get away from the news. It's very hard to do that because news is designed to rage bait you. News is designed to hook you in and keep you there. But I'm letting you know, I'm full news Margaritaville here, and it feels great. But it's bad because people sometimes want to talk to me, and I don't have any idea what the hell to tell them. And so, whatever, man. I've been reading a book that it was also turned into a film for those of you who can't do anything for more than 2 hours, but it's called Into the Wild by John Krakauer. It's about a guy named Chris McCandless who back in the early 90s disappeared into the Alaskan frontier, walked into the wild because he was sick of society. And unfortunately for Chris, he never came back. But prior to that, he lived a vivid life of self-determination and discovery. And although I don't quite have the courage or the heart that he did to live a nomadic life, I certainly am living one out here on my own, by myself, like that little penguin that was captivating all of us 3 weeks ago. Little penguin wanders into the Antarctic interior. He is not to be pitied. He is to be envied because he is living an authentic life experience. And if that means I can't tell you what's going on in Mexico, I guess there you have it. Hey, Lauren. So I guess we decided to start today. Well, I did say it would be Tuesday. I haven't seen the movie, so I'll have to do that. Anyway, live from the Antarctic interior, I guess we're just going to go straight to memes because I don't have any idea what to tell you what's going on. Couldn't tell you. What do we got for memes? Oh, it's Black History Month. I still remember that. I know it's February for sure. I think February just started. This Black History Month, don't forget to thank white liberals for ending racism by removing these black brand mascots. How is this demeaning? How was Uncle Ben's rice demeaning to Uncle Ben? Because we thought a black guy could make good rice or Aunt Jemima could make good pancakes? I'm betting that Aunt Jemima was probably a real person. The cream of wheat guy was probably not real. But, you know, all the white mascots are still there. Captain Crunch is still white. The Quaker Oats guy is still white. You know, Ronald McDonald's still wearing white face, which is very, very culturally appropriative and inappropriate to me. But as perhaps this was a meme best left in 2021. I don't know. Hi, I'd like a wake-up call. More people have been shot by trans women than ICE agents in 2026. I just have to take this meme for face value because I honestly don't know anymore. I'm guessing that there was some sort of shooting involving a trans person. Someone who, for them, it is not good enough to be allowed to live their strange life and be left alone. We all have to participate in the madness. We all must be players in their stage performance. We all have a part to play. They're both the star and the director. And if we do not know our lines, we will be fired at. If I wake up one more fucking time, God damn it, every day I'm waking up. Hate to see it. Felt that way this morning. And then getting here and then having this, episode being watched by 2 people live just confirms that I should stay in bed. This is what I posted yesterday. I stand correct now on Tuesday mornings. I don't know why it's in this bunch of things, but it's deleted now. I see that I am leading off strong with political memes this week, but they're more generic. They're not specific. What's the most absurd medical bill you've ever received? We covered this on the show before where someone was billed for brief emotion in the emergency room. They paid $11 for a time to have brief emotion. And it was mostly covered by insurance, which you have to applaud. My annual tax bill for other people's health care. That's right. You think it's absurd paying for the rates that you do for the things that you're receiving. Just wait till you receive a bill for things that you never paid for. Canada, Australia, you're already doing it with your free health care. Because other planets need crime too. I think the current rate of crime in space is currently only 100% among lesbians. Maybe those charges were dropped. I don't know. I am well known. It's been a few years since I've had these, but I've well known for having the worst hiccups. I literally had to leave my job once at 911. I was hiccuping so hard. And something that gives me hiccups. Do you have anything strange like this? But like if I eat peanut butter, like if I eat 2 spoonfuls of peanut butter, like I'm treating myself, or I want the protein, or I'm treating myself, or I'm a slob and I tell myself I don't need bread for this. It will only slow me down. I eat peanut butter, and there's something about it, and it gives me hiccups. Have you tried? Is this one of your bullshit cures? No, hold your breath. Okay. Now stick your foot in a toaster and divide by 0. This is actually a kind of a riff on a classic bit that I do where I tell someone to drink a whole thing of vinegar and put a bag over their face as they run for a mile. I like my bits better. People who expect more from me need to understand that I have to figure out what I want to eat every single day. And I'm exhausted. This is me. I've taken a lot of pro tips from people who are fans of the show, who tell me better ways to live my life would be to meal prep on my equivalent of Sunday, whenever that is, Saturday. I'm to just make up a whole bunch of meals, but it's like, I don't know what I'm going to want to eat throughout the week. I have no idea. Even if I wanted to go route like factor meals, you guys remember when I used to pitch factor meals on True Crime? By the way, that was the best part of the whole show, was literally me pitching the factor meals. Brought to your house reverse trick or treat style. Even then, I would need a variety, and I could only pick out what I'm going to eat on that day, the day that I picked it out. I have no ability to plan or do foresight that day. I'm a very emotional eater, and every day I don't know what my emotions will be. I can't see my emotions in the future. Can you? I'm not really supposed to do this, says the Verizon employee, showing you the setting on your phone that unbinds love from sorrow. You think that's a company policy or some sort of universal invariant? There is no way to unbind love from sorrow. And, maybe the reason that I feel so much sorrow is because I love too much. And if that's so, I guess in retrospect, I would throw all the love away to feel nothing at all. The average person still thinks that one crazy man tricked all of Germany into hating the Jews for no good reason at all. I wish this one had come before the one where I talked about unbinding love from sorrow. I think I have a little bit more credibility when I start off political and then I move into the sad, lonely stuff kind of more seamlessly. I didn't sort these well. Sorry, everyone. Anyway, so apparently he just tricked everybody in the Weimar Republic for no reason at all. Let's put on these cool uniforms and start randomly hating on the Jews for no particular reason. That's what we're taught in schools, that it all happened for no reason. And then when you ask about it, as I did, you're like, well, their economy was suffering and they had this. And they just wanted to scapegoat one particular brand of people for all the problems. And I'm just like, okay, well, all right. Sounds fun. Let's do this. The Germans replied. It turns out that whether you agree with their solution or not, and I don't really agree with the camps or whatever, or whatever. I like how I'm minimizing the Holocaust. But you can understand why people does something without condoning it. And I guess I encourage you to be a student of history and figure out why that happened, if only so that you don't want it to happen again. Figure out how that happened. And there's some uncomfortable truths, but I'll tell you now that if you were a big fan of Barack Obama, you loved his presidency and you missed those years, we would not have Donald Trump if it were not for Barack Obama. Remember, it's the theme at the end of Batman Begins of escalation. You start wearing body armor, they start wearing armor-piercing rounds, and now you're dressed like a bat. Now take this guy. Flair for the dramatic, double homicide, leaves this behind as his calling card, and it's the Joker card. And in the dark night. Alfred says, in their things were always going to get worse before they got better, and in their desperation, they turned to a man that they couldn't understand. I'm sorry, but Batman really does explain the current political crisis we have. Things got radical under Obama. That's when things got radical. The problem is that the people who love Obama don't appreciate the fact that that's when things got radical. That's when people were forced to make cakes against their will. That became the time of radicalism. And what happened is you decided to put the setting on radical, but you couldn't control the machine forever, and eventually it swung back to the right. So what did you get? I wouldn't say radical conservative, but you got a radical person who said, we're going to build a wall between us and Mexico's going to pay for it. And people elected that man. So you set the machine to crazy, and you get what you get. Anyway, just watch those two movies. I think they're actually fairly well written in terms of the historical significance. Let's see what's in the chats from the three people who are here. I would love to see what Michael Chase and Lauren say. It's a completely butch day. There are no girls here whatsoever. I guess this is our big chance to talk about women behind their back. Many of them are sexy. I sure wish any of them were nice. I don't know what else to say. I read the title yesterday. Memes are good, yeah. Newman is still repping. Newman, eh? Is that the guy from Seinfeld? I don't know what I'm supposed to make out of that. There's a shooting involving a trans person like every other week. See, this is why I don't have to stay plugged into the media, because I'm just aware of these things. It's just like every other week, twice, 24 times a year. That can just go on, and I don't have to be made aware of it specifically. I always wondered about how Aunt Jemima was racist. Well, by buying the pancakes, you're also marginalizing a group of people that had been mistreated for 200 years, Chase. I know that breakfast for you was never normally that heavy, but it surely was for someone else. John's peanut butter hiccup thing, just his throat swelling closed to his undiagnosed peanut allergy. Michael, I posted a meme here a week or 2 weeks ago that I wished I was allergic to peanuts, because I would just go ahead and do myself in with a PB&J. Let's do it. What am I sticking around for? Especially if I have a peanut allergy. I typically only bill him for legal advice. Girls stink. That's our that's our talk on women, since there are no women here. Why does the thing boobs are attached to? Why is it so mean? Yeah, this is just Chase dropping again that he has a girlfriend. That's all right. We already covered that one, guys. This is me. Good Lord, you have to get off your phone. You have to isn't a joke about obvious you have a right to be now destroying your life. I don't think I read that right. Good Lord, you have to get off your phone. You have to. This isn't a joke. I know it's obvious, but you have to right now. It's destroying your life. I think I read that correctly before, but with incorrect cadence to the point where it completely destroyed whatever it is it was trying to say. Obviously, this one stuck to me because it's like, you have to get off your phone because it's destroying you. I took a break from Instagram for about 5 days just to kind of really deep dive the break, and it was fine. Here's the thing. My break was supposed to last longer, but I needed something from Instagram, so I came back real quick to grab something, and I tried to re-deactivate, and it's like, you can only deactivate once per week. See you in a week. And I'm like, thanks. I guess I'll just show the self-discipline rather than having you do it. Hear me out. Life, but easier and more fun. Gosh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? I think life is supposed to be hard, though. And yet so many people are having an easy and fun time. The worst people. Maybe I shouldn't try to draw a comparison between my life and anyone else's. I don't know. This is me. I'm in her DMs. Distant memories. I'm trash. I'm gone. It's fine. I think these are the DMs that I'm probably best in. This is where I do my best work. Because I'm no longer accountable to any sort of real version of me. I'm just whatever she makes up. Maybe that's all I can be. Yeah, sex is cool, but have you ever been okay? Gosh, that'd be nice. I would love to be okay. By the way, I try to choreograph myself well, comport myself well in therapy, but this is probably not something that I will say when I'm there. Yeah, sex is cool, but have you ever been okay? I don't think you're allowed to ask them questions like that. Do you know a therapist literally can fire you as a client? People always are. I don't know if it's just in the movies or if it's just this big piece of misinformation that's out there. But as you can imagine, a practitioner of medical help profession doesn't actually have to do anything for you. So if they don't want you as a client anymore, they can just get rid of you. And they do that. It's called firing. Can you imagine being fired by your therapist? Can you imagine going in there and complaining, I got fired from my job and I'm getting divorced and my children don't want to talk to me, and your client and your doctor's just like, I'm pretty sick of you too. You're fired from therapy. Oh, so I'm remembering that as I go to therapy. They're like, try not to get fired from this. She's not going to appreciate your jokes, John. You go in here treating this like you're doing an open mic night. It's probably not going to go over well for her. And it's really tough because that's how I relate to most people is, convivial and jocular, to use a word. And I think I explained myself well through a lens of comedy. And I think that my life has been so sad, but also so funny. And like love and sorrow, how do you separate the two? How do you separate being pathetic from being funny? Maybe that's a question I'll ask her. So how are we going to go about this? So I'm pretty pathetic. Obviously, you're here to do some cleanup on Isle John, and I'm also very sad. So, but I'm funny as well. So, what's the way that we're going to do this? I'm guessing she would just tell me unsubscribe. There's plenty of people out there that need health care, psychological health care. That as long as I'm not a danger to myself, I could just be escorted out of the office. I would prefer to go kicking and screaming. I'm guessing they can actually arrange that, though. Rage bait often works on me because I was already angry before I read that. That is essentially me, too. I picked out some good memes this week that explain kind of what's going on with me. I get pretty worked up, and it's because I was already mad. The comments section and whatever makes me pretty mad. And the memes I see and the YouTubes that I watch make me pretty mad. Well, it's because I was already mad. That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry. And the rage bait just makes me worse. Maddie McMeme, who posted this morning a terrible meme that I literally had to confront him on because it's like normally he puts out top quality stuff. But I let him know that this morning was sad. Grocery stores should have a little basket in the middle of the store for those. I really overestimated how much I could carry. There was a good grocery store I used to go to that had that. They used to have put baskets in the back, and I think it just said men above it because women knew to just grab the cart at the beginning. They knew that they were shopping for their week because they do the meal planning, for the children because they birth those. And then, me, I'm just like, what do I feel like today? Well, I'm going to go to the back where the sushi is, but then I see 9 things. Well, I'm also out of every energy drink that I need for the week, so I'm going to buy 20 of those. That doesn't make me look like an addict at all. Then whatever else. And then you just look like an idiot. I've been that guy 100 times. And this one grocery store I used to go to would put baskets in the back. I'm surprised it didn't just say John above it. Buzzer beater attempts to get on the school shooter's good side. Nice shot, man. Good job. Wow, you're really sticking it to these bullies. Really proud of you, ma'am or sir or lady. That's the problem. This is why you can't get the buzzer beater attempts in when it comes to school shootings, because Your attempt to congratulate them may also be an accidental misgendering, which is the worst thing you could do. I love you so much. I wish I could build a giant maze in a parking garage or perhaps an abandoned factory and put you in it and watch you solve various puzzles in order to receive peanuts and seeds. What? The thing is, any woman that would love me, if I said this to them, they would return it in kind. Why do I feel this way? Maybe I had too much to dream last night. Maybe I had a dream that something could be achieved, something beyond my grasp. And because I took sight of it, even in my subconscious, I wake up to a world where such things are no longer even hypothetically possible. I say this because I literally had a dream about a girl I knew my junior year of high school who I haven't thought of at all in the past 22 years. And she's not an insignificant figure. It's just she moved away before the school year was over. And I completely put it out of my mind. Um, but yeah, like yesterday, I get up and I'm ignoring this show and driving to therapy, and I'm completely overwhelmed by a sudden flood of memories about her. Have you guys ever had that? Perhaps there's no reason to ask 5 people that you're not going to gather any useful information. But I would almost call it a recovered memory. And it was quite shocking to recall a person from your past that was so significant today. I can remember everything about her, but I haven't thought about her since junior year. And it was really troubling. But, I realized it's not about that person. It's about integrating my past and current selves. So, anyway, I had too much to dream the night before last. That's for sure. The cost of living should be lower if you hate living. I think we could all agree to that, right? Doesn't that kind of go back to this one? Hear me out. Life, but easier and more fun. Well, if we're not going to have that, could it at least be cheaper? There's a famous meme that goes around. You guys have all seen it. Like, why is being alive so expensive? I'm not even having fun. Obviously, that's a refrain going around. It's like my mom always said, though. What the fuck is wrong with you? Thanks, Mom. Thanks, Mom, for always being there to make it worse. Can't wait till we talk about my mom and therapy. Oh, I don't drink alcohol or do drugs. I like my suffering raw, thanks. This literally, we did talk about in therapy yesterday. It was part of the battery of opening questions, which I had to get to session number 2 to finish on. You abuse any substances? No. Here's the thing about that. I talked so much in the first session that we didn't even get like the first 6 questions answered. Like, uh, basic stuff. Have you ever been arrested? Have you ever abused substances? Do you drink? Do you smoke? It was weird to me that she asked if I used tobacco, but whatever. I told her I wish I did because I thought tobacco smoking was cool. So I did sneak a little joke in there. It's not even really a joke though. But it took so long to even get the basic questions answered. And it's like I don't abuse drugs. I don't have any self-harm ideation. I'm completely functional. I get up every day, go to work. I don't need prescription medication. What am I here for? Apparently I'm fine. I've got enough to talk about that we can't even get the basic 6 questions done in one session, but the things that people go to therapy for, I'm not here for. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out why I'm going to therapy. I'll ask her that at some point. Why do you think I'm here? You think it's a good idea, right? And she'll, this was something else on the first day of therapy, but I kind of told her, some broad strokes about me. And I'm like, are you going to buy a convertible? Because like, I'm going to be here for a while, like just talking to me an hour every week, you're going to be, your income just went up significantly. So sometimes when I really love someone, I leave them alone forever. Yes. Yes. Sometimes when you love someone enough, you realize that all you can do is harm them with your existence. And so you fuck right off. Sometimes that's what you do. You realize that they're not coming back anyway. So it might just make sense to, in your mind, send them away. Yes, I'm going to do that. You're not coming back. So I'm going to leave you alone forever first. I'm going to leave you alone forever first. It's just like riding a bicycle. Oh, the coolest, the vehicle I've crashed the most. I like how you liken it to something I'm terrible at. Thank you. I've decided to carry some undying hope within me every day as a treat. Little undying hope, anyone? No? That sweet little thing inside you that turns into poison the longer you live? Yeah, I'll carry that around with me. You're on thick ice, mister. You can keep this behavior up without fear of consequences. You're on very thick ice. You handled it so well. Thanks. I don't remember 45% of my life. It's actually very disturbing to me that I had this huge uncovered memory yesterday. It was actually like, I swear, like it was something out of Total Recall or some movie where all of a sudden a recovered memory completely reshapes the guy's narrative of his existence. How did I get here? It was very, very, very profound. And I think it not only suggests so much unto itself, but what does it suggest for the future? What am I going to remember tomorrow? Is me getting therapy and reckoning with myself at long last, the horrible tragedy and mess that I am, going to unlock even more things that are repressed? And are those things once unlocked, once beheld, never to be unbeheld? The bell can never be unrung. What's seen can never be unseen. And is it going to fundamentally reshape who I am as a person? Tune in next week to find out. I could tell. I know, right? I wasn't loved as a child. Who loves you as an adult? Oh. Oh. You have to let it linger. You do have to. I remember that was the law back in the 90s. My wife informed me that I am an asshole and have been for the last 15 years. I don't really like men who indulge in that I'm an asshole narrative as though it's something to be proud of. Just so you know, Michael. I know, shocking, right? Anyway, I'm having to read books about how I have a dismissive, avoidant attachment style. I've been seeing a lot of memes out there about attachment styles, anxious attachment style, and so on. Avoidant attachment style. I don't know shit about these things. Apparently, it's something that a lot of people are talking about. So I need to get hip with the whole attachment style thing quick because I don't know anything about that. I know it's weird that I would, first of all, not know about something, but also admit to it. So we'll just keep moving. I thought that was just called being a guy. That is just being a guy. Database. It's an emergency situation. I should call her. It's not about her. She wouldn't even remember me. So it's my database. What is my database? Here's the thing about it, though. Just to answer that question, I don't remember her last name. I think that I do. But I'm not positive. And there's little things that are suggestive about it, like the way that the name rings in your ear, like you've heard it before. But then also, she sat behind me in AP World History, and if we were seated alphabetically, that makes sense, right? So It rings some kind of true. I also got mad yesterday because I remembered some occasion where I was shamelessly flirting with her and it was going really well. I think I was happy for the first time ever. And my fucking teacher, like, he knew I was a good student. I was the only one getting an A in the class, probably. And like, he made me move to the front of the room and separated me from everyone else. I'm like, can you just let me enjoy being alive even one time? If you had any idea how fucking miserable I am and I'm getting an A in history class, can I just enjoy talking to this girl? Please and thank you. Anyway, Jonathan Sopranos taught me anything. It's that your mom is indeed the issue. I never saw that show. I don't watch any show that glorifies crime. If you get a convertible, can I have a ride? Well, it won't be me getting the convertible. It would be my therapist. She has a lot more income now. Wow, 5 viewers briefly. For people who probably thought the show was about, what did I say the show was about? Oh, Build-A-Bear Terror Syndicate. Yeah, those people were here for that. And then they see this guy coming in here talking about how therapy is going. They left. You're on thick ice. Trump is speaking to his attorney general, FBI director, ambassador to Israel. You're on thick ice. Felony Melanie's here, guys. Now there's a girl here, so now we can't talk about women the way we were talking about them before. Everyone resume the facade of feminism and eschew the truth of deep-seated misogyny, which we all hold on to. AP history nerd. What if I told you it was only honors world history? Would that make a difference for you? It might have only been honors. I think it was AP though. I bet she remembers you. Maybe. What does it matter if she remembers me? I'm not the boy that she said goodbye to that terrible spring day in the hallway by the stairs. So, anyway, I feel like I have this psychological profile of one of those dudes at the end of a cosmic horror story who glimpsed the formless ones outside of time and then can't focus on their day job anymore and spend all their time haunting their attic, scribbling runes on the furniture, but like high functioning. Yeah, that's that. Is anybody else getting this vibe from this episode today? It's a weird episode talking about therapy the entire time. I really don't want this to become the what I did yesterday in therapy show. Although maybe it would be nice to have some sort of like therapeutic brief on Monday and then debrief on Tuesday. I'm only going to share that which is funny, which again is most of it. I may be misremembering, which obviously happens, but didn't good things used to happen? God, this one just nails it too. Like this, guys, I picked out these memes before I had that cerebral event yesterday, in which I uncovered critical memories of my past. I may be misremembering, but didn't good things used to happen? Yes, a good thing did happen to me junior year, and I completely repressed it. I think because I just couldn't face losing it. And I don't like having to deal with it now. Like, this isn't convenient. I'm 41. Why am I dealing with a loss that I felt when I was 17? I don't have time. I have griefs. I have griefs from the 30s that I have to be dealing with right now. I can't deal with a loss for when I was 17. At least I don't have the huge hormonal imbalance that I would have at 17. Anyway. My biggest regret is not fighting more people when I was a minor. That was also something I had going for me as a child. Apparently, a lost love, but also apparently just license to fight as many people as I ever wanted to fight. I could have done it, but then maybe it wouldn't have worked out so well. Anyway, who knows? I was born to become unidentified skeletal remains. Again, I've said this on the show many times. I always stick by this. It's always been true. I've always wanted to be on Unsolved Mysteries. I don't think I can stand to be unidentified skeletal remains, although there is a good reason why I would remain unidentified as skeletal remains. A very good reason. I think I'd make a good set of skeletal remains. I think possibly being skeletal remains would be to put my best feature forward, my long bones, you know, just a lot of them. I know Andrea is she wants at least one of my skeletal remains. I almost said she wanted one of my bones, and I know you guys would all turn it into something horrible. Well, she loves Brian. Anyway, I always wanted to be on the show Unsolved Mysteries. You know, do you know what happened, Jonathan? Perhaps you or someone you know, and it's just grainy footage of me crossing the border into Mexico late at night, something like that. Where did he go? What happened to all the money? Yeah, that's okay. So I have very specific ideas about what the Unsolved Mystery should be. But I want Robert Stack to narrate that for me, and I want it to be about me. And I always wanted it as a child because I felt those stories were so interesting. And it maybe me wanting to be an episode of Unsolved Mysteries was just part of my search for significance as a person. That maybe if I could disappear, that the mystery surrounding my disappearance would imbue me with some sort of significance that I ought not have otherwise. Does that make sense? That if only in my disappearance could I become significant as a person whose whereabouts remain known, I remain totally insignificant. So here's hoping that I disappear into the Antarctic interior or into the Alaskan wild here soon, and perhaps I will be found with a note pleading, for the love of God, please rescue me. Who knows? Here's the bad thing about that. So, like Chris McCandless, up there in the Stampede Trail, starved to death. There's a lot of speculation on how that happened. The guy was already pretty slender when he went up there. I'm a big dude. The thing is if I'm starving, I'm gonna do it forever and a day. I could easily survive 18 months without eating any food at all. I'd have to drink water, but before I'm down to the weight that he passed away at, his remains were something like 65 pounds when they found him. It's going to be a while. I wonder how heavy just my skeleton is. There's somebody like Meg out there who claims to be a friend but never watches the show. She probably knows the formula for how much, based off of your age and your health and your sex, probably, because women have osteoporosis. They have lower density bones. Also, whether or not you're a bird, there's probably a formula to figure out how much of your weight is literally your skeleton. And I'm going to tell you what right now. I want that when I'm exercising and losing weight or gaining weight, such as I am as a person who goes to the gym and lifts weights, but also runs sometimes. I want the skeleton deducted from everything. I want to be talking about what's the rest of me made of? Is it made of meat or is it made of fat? There's no way to know, first of all. There's no reliable way to know. I know that Jenny has electricity sent through her body to figure that out. I guess I'm not willing to be tortured for that information. But I want to just deduct the skeleton straight off the top. I'm not responsible for the size of my bones. I'm not. And not only am I not responsible for it, but even if I am, I'm not taking responsibility. It's someone else's responsibility. Okay? I don't have to name names. Is it Deadleg's fault? Maybe. He's someone I like to blame a lot. So maybe it's his fault. Yeah. Is it any surprise no one loves me as an adult, by the way? I was born to become unidentified skeletal remains. I would love that. I think there's a very good reason why I would remain unidentified. Possibly because no one would have reported me missing. On the other hand, the person who killed me probably would have bragged about it. So now, see, is that imbuing me with significance or not? Would I be a meaningful kill to someone else? Would they brag about it? I killed that guy? Or am I just so insignificant that, like, if they killed me, they'd just be like, well, I'm not going to face any consequences for him. He's not worth going to prison for. I don't think they'd tell anybody. Man, that's a new low. Let's explore new lows together. Dogs would lose their shit if they knew that they had bones inside of them. That's something else to think about. I'm losing my shit over here contemplating the bones inside of me. What would dogs do? Dogs are always after them bones. You think we could explain to a dog that the very bones he seeks are within him? Okay. They should make a beer that's also an energy drink. Also, a cigarette that has 50 grams of protein. If I could get high protein cigarettes, I would commit to finding a way to smoke. I would just find a way, push through the pain, especially since smoking is an appetite suppressant. It's an excellent pastime, makes you cool, and if it's more than a shake to drink to actually smoke a cigarette, I would find a way to do it. I would bet you that if you got 50 grams of protein from a cigarette, at that point, the benefit probably outweighs the deleterious effects of smoking. I think that's how we save smoking for the next generation is we find a way to make the pros outweigh the cons. Our most handsome scientists, please get to work. Should find a way to do this. Also, regarding the energy drinks, it's also alcohol. I had to kind of confess to some sins in therapy about how much whiskey I used to drink back when I was a whiskey aficionado, not a drunk, and not depressed. I would take something like this when I'm done for the day because I like energy drinks. On a Thursday afternoon when there's no comm center yet. I get off work on Thursday, just come home. There's nothing for me to do. Shoveling, I guess, in the winter, Brittany. But it would not be uncommon for me to get a peach energy drink and then top it off with a little whiskey. Is that weird? I mean, that's got to be the worst thing for you. It's got to be almost as bad as a cigarette. The poison of alcohol, the poison of all those chemicals. And yet I loved it. I won't go back, though. Anyway, if only we could do that. Let's bring back smoking in bars. I think we've earned it. We have earned it as a society. You're going to tell me the last 6 years we haven't earned smoking in bars to come back? After all the curtailing of freedoms that was COVID, you're going to tell me that we put in all that time, effort, and energy, and there's no way to pay us back for all the freedom that you took from us and all the worry that we went through for no reason. I say we, I don't mean me. I was never concerned. But there's only one way to give that back to us, those stolen years that you took away from us during COVID times. And that's to restore the right to smoke in a bar and a bowling alley and the Waffle House. I want all three of those back to smoking. As you all know, I don't think that anyone has a right to a smoke-free environment. You can just stay at home if you don't want to smell smoke. I think out in public, the same way you may whistle or spit, you should be able to smoke. I don't encourage spitting in a bar or a restaurant, but you can. I don't care. I think spitting, like smoking, should just be up to the guy that owns the place, right? If it's Ben's bar, then Ben should decide if not people can smoke or whistle or smoke here or spit here. I think that should be up to him. So we've more than earned it back. It should never have been taken from us. The problem is that Gen Z never knew of a world where smoking in a bar was possible. They talk a lot about drunk cigs a lot, but they don't know that there was a time where you didn't even have to leave the table to do that. Today will be okay, even if I have to mold it that way with my bare fucking hands. This is a wintry day. Look at this. There's no leaves on these trees. This is perhaps today. Perhaps sunset. Perhaps it's a premature spring, a warm day like many of us had some weeks ago. A Coors Light. Of course, the mountains are not blue, which is how you know that the beer is cold, but perhaps it's enough for him to be outside when it's cold. The Marlboros and a hot dog suspiciously devoid of mustard, perhaps a coffee cup. But this man is forging for himself a great day. And maybe we all do the same somehow. I know that Valentine's was 10 days ago. It was a long time ago. But I love you like I love my Reds. I don't know. There's probably better Valentine's this day. Looking up at the night sky longingly, driving home westward as the moon sets and the constellation Orion sets. Sigh. I miss her so much. The spirit of JFK, the first Catholic president, God bless. I am in the sky. Oh, thank you, Jack Kennedy. Thank you for being in the sky. I spend every day thinking about JFK now. I literally do. The more I think about it, the more angry I am about that. I'm probably going to have to let go of the JFK thing at some point in order for me to completely get over my anger issues. It was a coup, guys. We don't live in a free country. This, by the way, is from that's so stupid. This is for Butter Queen. This is why you were supposed to be in this episode, Butter Queen. She started calling me DeJonathan 10, 20 days ago when the Instagram thing turned off. I don't know. Colonel Mustard's first name is DeJonathan. And I guess she's going to call me that from now on. I do like a fine mustard, a nice stone ground mustard. Who doesn't? I don't like this as a nickname, though. And what makes me mad about Butter Queen is that her name's already Butter Queen. What are you going to say to her? There's nothing you could throw back at her. Her name's the thing. Her name's Butter. So what am I supposed to call her? I even thought about it for like 10 minutes. Because her real name's Amy. I don't know if I'm allowed to tell anyone that. But I'm like, Mayonnaise. So stupid. She was beyond reprisal. I couldn't do anything. I'll just take it, I guess. This is what we were all really supposed to see. Good morning, slaves. Good morning, everyone going to work. For me, I can see this at 4 p.m. and it's the same thing. What do you guys have on your schedule? Well, I'm going to waste my potential in the early afternoon. Then after I'm off, I'm going to be isolating and avoidant. And then after the sun sets, I'll probably have a snack and feel guilty over the past. Doesn't this one also just feel like me? Wasting my potential? I mean, I'm a talented, funny, interesting person, and I have a podcast that, because of my own misadministrations, my own intentional misadministrations, is currently playing live to 3 people. If I tried harder and did what I know I need to do and not have this podcast be about Build-A-Bear Terror Syndicate, there would be more people here. But no, I just get on here and talk about how sad and lonesome I am, how much I like snacking, and how I feel guilty over the past. A sad show. That's what everyone loves, John. Let's feel sad. Let's explore new lows together. This one should have been at the top. Going forward, I'm going to try to make all the political memes at the beginning because you shouldn't have to wait for these. You should get mad right away and turn me off immediately. Everybody hold your horses. The race that never developed a wheel or the alphabet has something to say to the race that invented interplanetary travel. I would love to hear what you people have to say. What do you mean, you people? Well, I get that you can't invent anything, but why don't you maintain any of the stuff that we put over there in your continent? Fuck a breakup. Have you ever met a person that you had a brief but insane connection with, and then the universe was like, oops, wait, yep, sorry, that actually wasn't supposed to happen? Could it be at some late stage in life that somewhat strangely, coincidentally, you finally meet the person that you are supposed to be with? Is your other half, your perfect other, your perfect opposite? Nope. Nope. You weren't supposed to ever find her. And now every color is more gray, and every sound is more mute. Anyway, do you have any idea how melancholic you're being? I literally just got a ticket for that. Police officer goes out there onto the into the foaming brine where Lord Byron here is musing about his lost Clementine. And he is writing a ticket for being just a bit too much melancholic. I think this is a British police officer. And why does that ring absolutely true? Some police constable from the Metropolitan Police Service would be out here writing him a ticket for being too melancholic. Perhaps his wife set sail and he's waiting for her to return someday, looking for his ship on the horizon. Maybe he was never supposed to meet that person and fate took her away. And he still looks to the horizon every day, or perhaps to his phone, which is the modern day horizon, waiting for that message, that notification, that ship to return. And it will never return. Anyway, you guys talking amongst themselves don't necessarily need me for anything. I swear I should just, after yesterday, I should set up the show. Everybody was just talking. You don't even need me to be there. I should just set up the show as like a modern day answer to a chat room. And then just let you guys chat. Would you guys like that? That way I don't have to do anything. You could be here and you could chat amongst yourselves. This weird collection of 3 to 5 people that all like each other for some reason. You don't need me for anything. All right. Melanie was here for however long she was here. Nerds are cool now. Okay. Well, that's good. I think you would have made a good ghost story on Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah. Here's the thing with ghosts. So poltergeist, okay? A poltergeist is a ghost that can affect its environment. It could slam doors. It could buzz the light switch. It could probably make groaning sounds, even smells. If a ghost can interact with physical reality, then there's something tangible about it, right? It's doing the scientific definition of work, which is it's exerting a force through a space, right? So it's doing something scientific. That's the scientific definition of work being done, is a force being exerted through a space, whether to close a door, whether to close a cabinet, whether to knock a picture off of an old piano. Okay, so a poltergeist is doing this. Well, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Various other laws of physics say that if anything is bound by the laws of physics insofar that it can react physically with our world, then it must be bound by those same laws of physics for our world to react upon it. Do you follow me? Right? So the ghost is doing stuff to the world, closing doors. Well, then the physical laws which govern this universe must then govern the ghost. I think you know what I'm getting at. There's certain forces in our reality which then must necessarily affect the ghost. Okay? Let's just start with like the most obvious one, Isaac Newton, and talk about gravity. So if we've got a ghost that can knock a picture off of a piano or close a door, that ghost is going to get sucked down to the iron nickel core of the earth by the relentless pull of gravity. Okay? So if we have ghosts that can do things, we have ghosts that can affect us. They're all going to just be at the center of the earth. And they have to be bound by gravity. I know what you're saying. No, they're ethereal vapors. They inhabit a place. Well, here's the thing too. Like if you want to get cosmological about it, the Earth's never been in the same place twice. This is why time travel wouldn't work, because if you traveled back in time, you would just wind up in empty space, because that's not where the Earth was at the time that you were traveling back to. You have to travel through time and space to actually go backwards in time. That's why we can't do it. It's the only reason, actually. Okay, so if a ghost isn't bound by gravity, that means there's no reason for it to stay on this planet. It would fly off into space because the Earth is shooting around the sun at an incredible speed. and the sun is shooting through the galaxy at an incredible speed. And the galaxy is blasting away from the point of the Big Bang or from where God snapped his fingers and said, "Let there be creation," at an incredible speed. So you can't have it both ways. Are ghosts bound by gravity to this planet to remain haunting us here? And if so, they don't get to just stay in your house. They get pulled down to the molten iron nickel core of the earth. If there are ghosts here, that's where they are. They're all at the center of the earth. I'm sorry. I know that you want to believe that your grandpa is upstairs next to the chest with his old Nazi uniform in it, but no. He's literally down, hanging out, commingled with infinite ghosts at the molten iron nickel core of Earth. And there's nothing you can do about it because what are you going to do? Turn off gravity? I think you cause more problems than you solve by doing that. Okay. So I don't think I would have made a good ghost story for Unsolved Mysteries. Did I ruin ghosts for everyone yet? Did I do it in a way that was maybe a little unexpected? There's no comments whatsoever. I think everyone's mad because I just used reasoning to defeat ghost stories as a concept. Sorry, everyone. There are no ghosts, but for reasons you didn't think. I miss being a kid and scared in my bed after watching Unsolved Mysteries and Rescue 911. Rescue 911 was tense. And it showed very little 911 dispatching. But, me sitting at my desk is not something that's interesting to watch. Everyone wants to see the firemen grabbing their gear and jumping in the truck with only minutes to breathe. Steve Lancet at the Akron Fire Department knows he's got to rush with all the rushing he has in him. Right? I don't know. I think William Shatner, if he can sell a guy in a gorilla suit on a wing on the Twilight Zone, he probably could have sold 911 dispatching as an interesting enterprise. No pun intended. Yes, the house is haunted, but the ghost isn't scary. He just teaches me stuff that sometimes makes me sad and tells me about memes. I don't even care that everyone left. Oh, yes, this house is haunted, but the ghost isn't scary. He just teaches me stuff that sometimes makes me sad. Oh, this is the comment of the day. He teaches me stuff that sometimes makes me sad and tells me about memes. I loved it. I love that that's my niche, that I teach people things that make them sad. My wife was watching a pretty funny show called Ghost for a while. Really funny premise. I watched a few episodes of that against my will. And I will tell you that every single episode is the exact same episode. One guy can see the ghosts and the other person can't see the ghosts. And then it's the comic tension between what the ghost could see and what the guy can't see. It's literally the same show as I Dream of Jeannie or Bewitched, because there's something supernatural afoot and only one character is aware of it while the rest are not. It's literally that same formula. I'm not bashing it. I'm just saying it's not a show you can binge because every episode's the same. You could watch it for 30 minutes once a week. It's probably how that show's doing okay, but I don't think it's bingeable. If it makes you feel better, I bet your therapist will think about making you a ghost. Like forcibly? Forcing me into a ghost-like situation? Protein cigarettes would be freaking awesome. I know. They do have beef jerky chew. Do they really? They have nicotinated beef? My aunt and uncle have smoked like crazy for 60 years and made it to the late 70s. I mean, maybe cigarettes aren't bad for you if all my aunts and uncles smoke and are doing decently. Yeah, I don't think it's universal. John is drinking a ghost. How appropriate. Yes, yes. grapey. Tastes just like wine. I chewed and rubbed for years. I don't know what rubbing is. And I always wanted an old-timey brass spittoon for my office. Yes, that little ding is how you know that the spit is on target. You aren't supposed to be rubbing into a spittoon in the office, HR nightmare. You guys are funny. Remember the time JFK was tagging Marilyn Monroe? She went to stage 5, Klinger, and he had to have her offed. Do you think that that's what happened? Wow. Because I was learning that in like 1962, she went out to the fundraiser for the DNC and JFK's birthday and sang, happy birthday, Mr. President. And then she died later that year. And that her career was failing at that point, that she'd only been in one movie the year before, and the movie didn't do very well. And you think that JFK had her rubbed out? Or some sort of Kennedy, Joseph Kennedy, perhaps? Worth looking into. It's really hard because, like, you get mad about Kennedy standing up to the state, the deep state, and intelligence as an unchecked authority, and they take him out. But he couldn't have been that great of a guy either, right? Like, he was probably doing things he shouldn't have been doing. I mean, we know that he had extramarital affairs, but I mean, which really doesn't even make sense because Jackie was amazing. I don't know. Still here, just had to do some real work for a bit. Was there a fire or something? I find that hard to believe. Tyler's finally here. Tyler missed the entire show. Tyler, the show is over. John, and on their way to the center of the earth, they bumped into a door. Well, I'm just letting you know that whatever's bumping your doors is not a ghost. John, what if you traveled back to that moment in time in which the earth is in the same place? I just got done saying it's never in the same place because it's not just the earth rotating, revolving around the sun. The sun is also shooting through the galaxy, and the galaxy is also on the move. You have a very static view of the universe. It's not static at all. It's completely dynamic. I love the thought that went into the ghosts. I did spend some years thinking about that. You could tell that that's a doctoral level thesis there. If there are no ghosts, then what is hugging me from behind while I'm at the Potter's Wheel? I haven't seen that movie. I don't think I need to. I think everyone's ruined it for me. Yes, that is believe what I believe what happened to her. FBI interviewed and had taken down from the hospital and placed back in the bed. That's odd. Didn't she overdose on barbiturates? John, I'm with your brother. I like a lot about JFK and have to acknowledge some bad stuff too. Well, nobody's perfect. Only one was perfect. Everyone else falls short of the glory of God. But JFK was probably the last president who really had our interests at heart, who was really trying to stop a lot of the things that unfortunately got set in motion as far back as Pearl Harbor. I was reading and thinking about it yesterday, and I realized intelligence being performed strictly by the military in a disorganized way is what caused or allowed Pearl Harbor to happen. The Office of Strategic Services throughout the war, intelligence coming in from various military branches, observation posts. We didn't even have radar really, in 1941. And think about the way that intelligence gathering changed throughout the course of World War II to the point where it became centralized by Harry Truman. Now you have centralized intelligence. Well, all that was ever meant to do was organize the way that intelligence is brought from the field to the president. They were never supposed to be staging coups and overthrowing other countries. They were never supposed to be dynamic actors changing the world. And yet somehow a huge portion of their budget went not just to ideas like MK Ultra, mind control, but also to toppling governments. Sort of became unchecked and insane. And who do we blame for that? Well, Truman, a little bit, because he created it, didn't set up the guardrails needed to protect democracy, which he fought so hard for, apparently. And then Eisenhower, people say I like Ike, but I even realized yesterday for the first time that in his farewell speech to the nation, he said that, you need to be aware of the military industrial complex. And for a while, I thought that cast a great shadow over what happened to Kennedy. But I realized that Eisenhower was also insulating himself from criticism because he didn't warn the country about the CIA. He didn't warn people about the intelligence apparatus that was accountable to no one. He was saying that if anything bad happens, it's going to be because of the military industrial complex. He was creating plausible deniability for the CIA, and he was creating plausible deniability for him, saying that when these things happen, and they will, because he knew the Bay of Pigs was coming, he knew that Kennedy was not going to be happy about all the things that Dulles was doing. He knew that when this would happen, he needed to cut out for him. He needed to know that the CIA would not be blamed, and the president, which indulged the CIA to grow unchecked for 8 years, could not be blamed. And Truman did write a article a month after JFK's murder, saying that certain intelligence operations are proof that the intelligence apparatus in this country is out of control. Nobody paid attention when Truman tried to warn us. And Eisenhower, to his discredit, could have teamed up with Truman and said, like, we believe that the CIA did this. But what do? Do you burn it out of the ground, or do you look for stability in a world where the Soviets have the bomb and all the reason in the world to use it on you? I don't know. What's my thesis on aliens? Unlike Barack Obama, I don't believe in them. You have one. Do you know that I have an alien? The alien I have is not from another planet. He just does some work here. And oh, look, Shorty Rides is here for the very end of the show. Shorty Rides just woke up. It is literally 3 a.m. there. She's saying, hi, everyone. Shorty Rides, you've arrived at the end of the show. I'll talk about aliens next time, I guess. Probably not. I was aware that Obama said that aliens are real. And I saw this morning that someone asked Donald Trump about it. He says, the reporter says, so Obama says aliens are real. Do you have any thoughts on that? And he's just like, are you telling me that President Barack Hussein Obama is leaking classified information? And he's trolling people, but they won't get it. You're not staying. Well, who would stay for this mess? To everyone else who watches the show later or somehow missed it or just doesn't care about this show anymore, boy, you missed a good one. I felt that this show was sad. I thought that it was contemplative, introspective, and that those are the best shows that I make. However, very few of you watched. And if it's some sort of numbers game, well, I only have myself to blame because I could tell myself that it's about Build-A-Bear Terror Syndicate when I could have said John talks about therapy or John posts political memes. I'm going to blame you, even though it's specifically my fault. Can I do that? There's a lot of that going on in the country, too, blaming others for things that are our fault. Have a great day, all. It's 4:48. Sorry, I was off by an hour. All right, guys. But that's it for me. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you achieve all your dreams except one, so that you always have something to strive for. I will see you back here on Thursday night if we have a show. It's just a tough time. Continues to be tough. But there are always things on the horizon. And I always say it on Tuesday. I don't know what the show will be about. We never let you down. There's always a show about something. Even if it has to be members only, we'll be there. I'll be there. I'll come up with something. I'll figure it out. I don't know. But I'll make it worth your while as well. We always try to bring top quality content. And Drew and I are talented enough that even if we don't know what the hell we're doing on Tuesday, we can usually cobble something together and put together something pretty good by Thursday night. And if not, it's been 3 years of quality content and we deserve a week off, even though we've had like 7 of those since Christmas. It's not about sticking around for this Thursday. It's about sticking around for all the Thursdays after that. 66% of those are going to be good. right, guys. Nobody needs me for anything, guys. Go have a good week. I'll do the best I can to continue to harvest memes in a Instagram deprived environment. I wish you all the best. Have a great week, everybody.